Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, while you're here, I'll give you a demo of the Stampede. How about that? Okay, so I got the Stampede about 3 months ago. I got it for a very good price. They usually run about $45. Sometimes you can see them at $40, like Walmart or Target. I don't know if they're still doing this, but I picked mine up at Marshall's for $35. So that was really great. And also at the time, my girlfriend worked there, so I was able to get a really good deal on this thing. But even for the $45 or sometimes $50 that you see at normal stores, it's a really good gun, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, it's automatic. It's very handy. You know, it has a nice, impressive rate of fire. It's really, sorry about my dog. It's a really nice, solid gun. Really good for suppression fire, whatever you want to use, or just, you know, scaring people, because it's a massive gun. I mean, it's like, it's big. When you buy it, it comes with one 6-clip, and then it comes with these 3 18-round clips, which, if you have a gun that has 18-round clips and you can feed them through, with this it brings the total up to 60 darts. That's impressive in and of itself, but a lot of people buy these as an investment for ammunition. Reason being, these are still end strike clips. They can fit into any gun that has this end strike clip in it. So if you want to go with another gun, you just take these clips with you. And since they're compatible, very handy to have these clips around. Because when I do any of my Nerf wars, if nobody's using the Stampede, you can bet these are getting distributed out. So anybody who has an Alpha Trooper doubles their amount of darts. Anybody who has a Recon, you know, quadruples their amount of darts that they would normally have, just by taking one of these and fitting them in their pocket. That's a huge advantage. But back on the gun itself, the ranges are pretty standard, 35 feet, which is definitely nice when it's unmodified. Now going on to the cons of it, it does require 6D batteries, which are nice and heavy. And it makes it weighted backwards a little bit, which I guess is alright. I don't mind if it's tilted up, because that'll get a little bit better range anyways. But it still is quite heavy. And, you know, when I'm thinking about this, you know, a kid playing with this has got to be one heavy gun for them to support. And you're kind of supporting it by your forearm, because this is where the weight's going down. And the only thing they have pushing up is your thumb. You kind of have to squeeze your thumb to keep it up. So that can probably be tiring. If you're somebody who does Nerf modifications, one of the greatest things you want to work on is not so much power, but portability. I'll talk about mods a little bit later. But the gun itself, it is kind of heavy. The batteries are quite expensive because they're Ds. But you do get a huge amount of firepower, so it is definitely worth it. Another thing I really like about these clips is that I can insert them and then take them out whenever I need to. Whenever you're taking out a clip in a regular gun, you have to make sure that it's forward and it's fired, which can be very frustrating, especially if you have a gun that you've already cocked, and you know, if you're trying to get the clip out, you have to, you know, cock it back and remove it, and yeah, it can be very hasslesome. I think I just said that you have to have the bolt forward. You actually have to have the bolt backwards, which means if you're just emptying a clip and you don't have something to replace it by, then you have to put it back forward and dry fire it, which is bad if you have modified guns. So going on Nerf modifications, if you're just a kid looking at this, this is a great gun to buy. I'm going to talk about the Nerf modifications if you want to make some fancy pants stuff. Obviously it has 6D batteries in here that runs off 9 volts. You could actually grab yourself a little 9-volt battery. The only trick with these is that they don't last very long. They'll deliver 9 volts pretty comfortably, and the gun is pretty balanced when you just have one of these in there, but it will not last long, maybe a battle or two. So if you do this very simple 9-volt mod, and that's it, that's all you do, I would recommend getting rechargeables. Yeah, they're terrible, they don't last very long, but if you just have one of these, it'll last you a battle. Playing HVZ, I would get 2 of them and interchange them, but that might be kind of difficult, so I would just assume do another voltage mod. But if you just want to use it for a Nerf war, and you have somebody has a sale on these, or you just get rechargeables, because they'll just last you a while, and you won't have to buy 9 volts all the time, because they're kind of expensive. About the voltage mod, that's the trick with these guns. Is inside is kind of complicated. You know, replacing the spring is fine, but getting a battery that fits in here, I thought about lead acid batteries, like a 12-volt, but they're pretty heavy, so it wouldn't really do much for, you know, in terms of weight. It would probably be a little bit more. You can't get a lot of power out of them. Plus, it's really hard to find chargers for those. Probably my best option would be to get some Trust Fires. Those are 3.7 lithium ion batteries. They can be quite expensive. If you really look hard, you can find some at a good price. And you'd have to get that and the charger, which again is pretty expensive. And then you'd also want to get a little tray holder that holds either 6 of them or 4 of them or however many you want. And then you basically solder that into either the tray itself, or you can actually make your own tray to slide right in there, and you'd have to solder it. So if you don't have anything to do with electronics, that's very, very difficult to do, because you have to buy a soldering gun, and you have to buy the wire adapters and the little clip holder and the batteries. I'm kind of just getting into that, so it's more of a possibility for me now. But that's the hardest thing about these is just doing a very integrated and easy voltage mod without spending a crazy lot of money, or also just making it, you know, inconvenient with a lead acid battery. Another thing to point out is when you overvolt this thing, if I just stuck, you know, 4 Trustfire 3.7 volts into there, I would get better performance. I would get better distance. But another thing you have to do is gauge. You know, you're replacing the spring and you're replacing the batteries, and you know, you can replace the batteries a lot, but if you do, you may burn out the engine. And you can replace the spring a lot, but you need to make sure that if you put a spring that's 2 or 3 times the strength of the original spring, and you only put it up to 9 volts or, you know, possibly 12 volts, you're going to have a lower rate of fire. So make sure you balance those out. You know, when you improve the spring and improve the batteries, and vice versa. Overall, it does have great modding potential, but it's a lot of money to invest in, and I haven't even started on it, just because I'm not sure if I'm still deciding if it's worth it to spend all that money on modifying it. And another thing, it also shoots streamlines, and streamlines can be, you know, can veer off left and right, and we all know that. So that's something to consider. Again, with modding it, it's just sort of I still can't come to a conclusion yes or no, because it's more of an investment. I mean, if I have an Alpha Trooper, yeah, I'll just mod it. But this one is just, there's so many different components, and it's really complicated, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna, you know, all the stress of trying to get the batteries and the spring and all the things working perfectly is really going to amount to me actually improving the gun to the point where it's worth all that stress and all that money I've invested into it. Maybe it's just because this is not my kind of gun. But I guess to wrap this up, I would say it's a great gun. If you can find it for $40, it's definitely a good buy. As the gun itself, it's a good gun, but mainly it's just because of these clips are interchangeable, and these are a lifesaver. Even if you don't even use this gun, which I don't as much as I probably should, these clips, I can fit them in my pockets really easily. So this is more of an investment on ammunition than anything else. I'll just run through this 6 clip. This is completely unmodified. This is the switch that turns on the whole system, and then you just pull the trigger. It won't, as it stands stock, it won't fire unless the clip is in there. And this is turned on. Some people remove that, some people don't. It's pretty easy. It's just a circuit. You just cut the wires and solder them together. Again, that's another thing. It is a little complicated inside there electronically. So I'll just fire this off, just so you see the rate of fire and such. So, very, very handy to have that kind of fire, either in a Nerf or an HVZ, that steady stream. If you want my opinion, I would say it's a good gun to get. I would say modify the spring a little bit and modify the battery more, because it would be great to have a really nice rate of fire, rather than trying to overspring it and then you might have some trouble. So just having an impressive rate of fire with that voltage mod is definitely good. I'm sorry if this is a little long and rambly, but it is sort of a complicated blaster, being one of the more sophisticated ones. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'm probably going to do more of these if I get enough positive feedback. So if you do like this and you want me to do more about what's in my arsenal and get my perspective on these guns, please comment or subscribe or send me a message or do whatever you can, just so I know that, you know, this isn't boring you up to death. So again, thanks for watching. This is the Thanimal. See you later.